everyone, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be talking about how you can sort object arrays. We've talked a lot about how sorting works with arrays in JavaScript, and we have been able to see different examples of how this can be done in JavaScript. So in this particular lesson, we are going to be looking at how you can sort object arrays, and here on my screen you can see an example of how an object array looks like. You can see that there's an array of cars, and then it contains objects as the element of that array: type, Volvo, year 2016, type Saab, year 2001, type BMW, year 2010. So this is an example of an object array, and we're going to be looking at how you can sort through it in JavaScript. Now below that is a written text that even if objects have properties of different data types, the sort method can be used to sort the array, which means that if the element of your array contains different data types, which happens to be object, you can use the sort method to sort the array. The solution is to write a compare function to compare the property value. So don't forget that in the last lesson we talked about how tricky it can be when you are trying to use the sort method to directly sort numeric values, and that was when we got introduced to what is called the compare function, on how you can instruct the sorts to deal with numbers. And so in this particular lesson as well, we are going to have to use that compare number when we are working with object arrays in order to sort them, because that is the solution through which JavaScript can understand what you are telling it to do. So before I come back to this last display on my screen, let's quickly take a look at an example of how the sorting of object array looks like in JavaScript. So I have my screen here, so I will just make an example, an array to be this. So this is my array, and here I just closed it. Now inside it, I want to have objects. So I want to have the type of object I want to have is a car, Toyota, for example. And let me say the year is 2015. Then the next one will be Benz. Don't forget this quotation mark is very important because these are strings value. And then I want to say year of 2020. And last but not the least, I want to make the last one $20.25. Now, this is my object array. My array name is cars, and it contains 3 objects, each with the type of car, the year when the car was made. So I want to call a function to display my initial original data that I have, and I'm going to make the function later as I proceed. So this is to display the original data that I have in my array, and then I can now use the sort method on this car. Don't forget about the compare function that we talked about. You remember how we used it in the previous lesson. So here is it. Now before I proceed, I want you to take note of something, that JavaScript only compares, it can compare string. Do not forget that it compares string value, and here we have numbers, which happens to be the values of each of the year when each of these cars was produced or manufactured, or that. So in order to allow JavaScript to work with this, we need a way to compare each year, to know how to hierarchically arrange and sort each of the car products. And that is the reason why you are going to see something like A to represent one car, then the year, and then B to represent another car and the year when that car was made. So in an ascending order, since we are using shorts, and that is how shorts understand shuffling. So now that we have in this compare function, then I can close it, and then I can come down and say, okay, call my function again, display cars. Because JavaScript is not going to automatically call this after this shorting function runs. So I need to call it again. And that is the reason why we are seeing it for the second time. Then I can come down and now make the function itself. So display cars is the function. And then inside the display car, what do I want? Okay, I want to add this document.get element by id dot inner html equals to, because of space, that's why I'm breaking this. So I can now begin to pass in my parameters, which is the cars that I have. So the first thing I want to pass is the type of the car. Then I want to add space. That's the purpose of this semicolon, and then the year and index position of the car. That is why you are seeing that square bracket. And then I want to break it so everything can be on a new line. So, and I want to add the last one as well, as you can see right here now on the screen. So now if you take a look at my screen right now, I want to comment this out because I'm not using it. Now look at my screen right now. You can see Toyota, Benz, and Hyundai. And if you look at it, this is the correct ordering that is expected, because 2015 should come before 2020 and 2020 should come before 2025. So how was JavaScript able to achieve this? Now, don't forget about this compare function that we've talked a lot about in the past example. So don't forget the rule that when JavaScript try to compare two values, so for example now A represents one car, B represents another car. If it compares the year, so that's like 2015 minus 2020. So if it gives a negative value, it simply means that A will comes before B. Now, if the others are the same, if the return result, let's say we have two cars of 2020, the same year model, and it will return 0, the other will stay the same. JavaScript will not touch it and change it. But if it gives a positive value, that means that A will come after B. So this rule is very important when working with sorting, so that when you compare elements, you'll be able to understand why the result you get is actually the result you get. So you can take them to go through this example. What you have done here is that since this is an object, we need to pass the name so that JavaScript will be able to see, to pick values that it needs to use to compare. So there's nothing special here than everything that we have been doing, especially when we start talking about how to sort arrays in JavaScript. And these are just index positions. As you can see, there's nothing big deal about it. So take time to go through this example, and in the next lesson, I'll see you again. Thank you.